What's going on, guys? We decided to go over some of the best tickers so far this month in October. It being the 9th today at the S&P 500, reaching those new all-time highs. Of course, the title is What to Buy Using Volume. So, of course, we're going to do some volume analysis while we look at all these tickers. We got the OGs in the water cooler tonight. We're hanging out in the Discord. And if you have an open mind and a golden heart, you're more than welcome to join us. Just click the more down below, click the link tree, and you'll find our Discord in there. And the family will welcome you as long as you're willing to learn. So what's going on, guys? I'm pumped to be here. Dan Bob's in here. Beef Stewie. Predators made it on time. On time, ladies and gentlemen. Sweet Jolene, and Swervo for Prez. We're getting to it. But thank you. Thank you. All right, so guys, the S&P 500, okay? This is why it pays to be positive. Look at this sweet... share my screen. Yeah, you guys can see it on the thing, but you can't see. Here you go. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And you guys are more than welcome to interrupt me at any time if you want to talk about anything. Once we look at the S&P 500, this is the whole reason why right here I put myself on blast every time. You guys know it. I call it out. This is my main way of trading. Risk off when we were below, risk on when we were above. And this goes for every single time that we've been below a 21-day moving average. I have called the risk off. I have called this risk on. I'm starting to label it now as of the past few, just because I really want to be able to zoom out on this and look at just over the years, where I've been risk off and where I've been risk on. We've been risk on, and for a good reason, and it's held that 21-day moving average. We talked about it holding, and now we've just reached a new all-time high. So what I like to think when I'm thinking about volume is, where is the money going? If the S&P 500 is going to new all-time highs, where is the money going? Or where is the volume going? Because essentially that's what the volume is, right? People are using money to buy those shares. So where is that money going? So we want to be in the leaders. We always talk about the leaders. We always talk about the leaders, guys. We always talk about the leaders. But few of us, and I'm talking to myself too, are rarely in those leaders and concentrated in those leaders. Now, some of us did get a hold of a few things like PLTR, like Meta, like NVIDIA, okay, using different things like METU and NVDL. Shout out to you, Jolene. And so when you get a hold of those leaders, we have to make sure we follow our rules and follow our process. Okay, now I give you my guidelines to what I use for my process. You can find that in the trading school and the YouTube. I know everybody listening right now in the Discord has already been through all of that. But for those of you who are listening at a later time, you need to go through it. It's absolutely free. Okay, I don't know why anybody wouldn't go through that trading school. I think we've all, including myself, have listened to it more than once. Now, with these new highs, we start looking at the leaders. We brought up Meta. I've been talking to you guys about Meta when it broke new all-time highs here. You guys remember in the chat, we were talking about using METU. I talked about how I missed this cup. It was absolutely beautiful. Nice breakout overnight. By the time you woke up in the morning, we were already gapped up well above the 10-day moving average. A hard take, which every time I see this, I always think in that book, Reminiscence of a Stock Operator, when the gentleman says, or I'm sorry, not that one. It was the other one. How I made $2 million in the stock market. So forgive me. But he says that buy dear and sell dearer, or buy high and sell higher. Now, this is a hard take. You guys know how I am with extension. But you can see right here on the volume this next day that it was true. This thing couldn't sell off. This buy volume just kept it up and kept it shining, right? And then when it came back down into this area, it's on lighter volume. This is the area I'm looking at down here, guys. And those of you that are using TradingView, you're going to see the same exact thing. I'll warm up my TradingView right now. You're going to see the same exact thing, only it's going to look a little bit cleaner. So let's look at Meta on here. This, you can see this yellow line. This is what I wanted to see to make it like a 5-star setup. It didn't. It gapped up overnight, and you can see the volume right here. You can even bring this up. Absolutely beautiful, though. Beautiful trade. And we talked about Meta. Meta, it's a slower mover, right? 2.18%. So we can move over to METU, okay? You can play this the same way. It just moves twice as fast, okay? So this breakout occurred. It moves twice the percentage, 4.25% on its average daily range, okay? And then I want to look at NVIDIA. And guys, we're going to go over these. We're going to kind of go over them fast. And you guys know how I am with talking, but I want you to feel comfortable. If you want to say anything or talk about anything, you need to just bring it up. Interrupt me, please do. You know how I am with the silence, though. So always interrupt me. Shout out to you, Jolene. You took this trade. We talked about this on our Sunday meeting. I believe it was the Sunday meeting. This huge trend. And we were talking about how, it's holding above all of its moving averages. And if it can get through this area, and push through on volume right here, then we have ourselves a tasty little trade. That's exactly what this did. That was absolutely beautiful. And, I think one thing that I know that I personally am maturing in the stock market as a trader, okay, is when I miss a trade, and instead of being mad at myself or being mad or pissed off, I am literally searching for somebody else who is in it, who took it. And that's why it's so awesome having this community, because we talk about all these stocks. I can't play all these stocks. You guys know I'm out there, kicking ass, working, right? Like I'm making some money on the side. It feels good. When I get an alert that goes off, I cannot let that pull me from what I'm doing at all times. But if it happens to be at the right time and the right amount of volume that comes in and the right play and I have the right process, I take it. I go with it. I missed this one, but I know I'm growing because Jolene got a hold of this, but she used NVDL. Because this moves 3.5%, NVDL actually moves much faster at 7%. And you can see here at that breakout area on volume, you are already up. I mean, even if you count today's lavish close, you're still up 11.43%. That is absolutely beautiful to be up in 3 days. Okay, not to mention it was there in 2 days. I'm even counting today's small pullback. Okay. Now extended, now not something you can take, but using the volume analysis, this pullback is on lighter volume. That is a good sign for the overall stock in general. And if that's good for NVIDIA, then it's going to be good for the overall stock market as well, because the overall stock market is swelled with stocks like Meta and stocks like NVIDIA. See here, NVIDIA holds the majority of the stock market. And if the stock market rises and the boats bring that stock market to rise, you're going to see a lot of green in a lot of other areas, especially the ones that are hotter, okay? Recently, we've seen like utilities, just for an example, okay? So you can see Meta here is huge, NVIDIA's here huge, and they are leading this market, okay? Another big one is PLTR. There's a lot of news on PLTR. Not only am I in this, I'm up, let's see, I can take it from this green area. I'll give you my percentage. I'm up 17.5% right now. 17.5%. I'm probably going to shave a piece of this off here very soon because all-time highs is at $45. And I agree with Dan Bob when we were going over the management of his PLTR trade. He's shaving some off on the way up, which it's always nice to be able to take profit, but you always want the majority of it to compound. This is the whole reason why we take these breakout trades, is to play the breakout, right? We don't want to just give all of ourselves away. So I like this take out at that all-time high where you take a piece out, let it come back down, maybe set up one more time. But we talked about PLTR, we talked about leaders, and this is one that I was able to hold. It's unfortunate. I actually had 500 shares of this at $36.66. 500 shares. And because it didn't hold this as its new higher low here, it stopped me out. But after the next day, when it rallied back up through my price area, I had to re-get into this. But instead of taking 500 shares, I only took 100 shares. Okay. So you can put that in perspective how I kind of feel holding this right now. You know, where I went from, being up in some sense of you know, 5x multiple of what I'm actually holding. This $600 that I'm up right now, let's see what it's it's $592 on this 100 shares. It makes me a little, it makes me feel some type of way. We'll just put it that way, and I think you guys can all understand that. But that just kind of shows me when I'm working, and I'm not in front of my computer, or rather, when I let's put it this way: when I get stopped out, I'm proud of myself for being able to re-enter. But I wish I would have, as confident as I was for PLTR, I wish I would have increased rather than decreasing from 500. I wish I would have went at least twice that, so 200 shares or 250 shares and split it. So um, what's another one we got, guys? I know we went over a few other ones, but those I really think are the biggest leaders. I just wanted to kind of shed some light on the biggest leaders that are out there. Now, what do you guys think? I need a little bit of feedback from you guys. I really want to know, where do you think the biggest leaders lie? Or am I missing a leader? So we have Meta, we have NVIDIA, we have Palantir. What do you guys think is a leader that I might be missing? And I'm truly asking you. This isn't like a trick question. I don't know. What other leaders are out there that I'm missing? Or do you think I covered most of them?
I think those are the leaders right now.
You think those are the top three?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, cool. I'm glad we
Rocket
agree.
hasn't done well, but it looks like it wants to break down now. So I thought it was going to set back up.
Which one?
But Rocket Lab, 10 seems to be its top for now.
So I was going to bring up Rocket Lab. Dan Bob, I really like the way Dan Bob called this out and the way he's been playing this. Excuse me. If you guys see here, we got a cup and handle. Also, we can just consider this a base breakout, right? It's a nice, tight, flat base. It breaks out on higher volume. See the volume here? Okay. You can see that on the 5-minute too when it breaks this area. We can zoom into the 5-minute here. You can see the volume on its breakout right back here. You can see how much more volume is actually in this area right here rather than all of its traded days. So this is just such a great take to be able to take it in this area. Okay, and then it comes right up here, and then look at this consolidated pullback. It's setting up again. I absolutely love this. I absolutely love this. I really see this thing getting tight here and then breaking this area on volume again and taking off. Because look at this. It moves up on higher, much, much higher than average volume, and it pulls back on lower than average volume. This is exactly what we're looking for. So Rocket Labs looks like it's ready to rocket up, and maybe by the end of the next week. But right now, it looks like it's trying to hold that 10-day moving average, and it looks like it's continuing to hold. So Rocket Labs is looking very, very strong in this overall market. Very strong. Let's take a look a little bit, RKLB. I just wonder, so it is aerospace defense. So B. Stewie, I'm sure that you're probably drooling over this thing, right? You've been seeing this thing for a while, right? 4.69 billion
Yeah,
market
absolutely.
cap. You like this one? Have you been playing it?
I did when on my paper account,
Okay.
but me and Dan Bob's been watching this for a few weeks
Hey,
now.
Dave.
Yeah, what's up?
Dave,
Yeah.
please check your DMs. It's important.
Oh, okay.
I call this
I appreciate you, Predator. We're good to go, though. Yeah.
I call this the poor man's SpaceX.
What was that? The poor
I
man's
call this
SpaceX? Okay.
Yeah.
I like that. Just by a quick look at their financials, they look pretty cool. Aerospace company which engages in the development of rocket launch and control systems for the space and defense industries. It operates through the launch service and space systems segments. The launch service segment provides launch service to customers on a dedicated mission or ride share basis. The space systems segment consists of spacecraft engineering and design services, spacecraft components, spacecraft manufacturing, and on-orbit mission. Wow, there's a lot going on there. There's a lot going on there. It's pretty cool. I really like the setup. And one thing I want to point out, because we always see these setups, right? And a lot of times we don't go over some of the setups. I want to show you like this setup here. I call this a 5-star setup. Let me show you what happens. This is why it has to do what it has to do before we play it, right? You could even get rid of these wicks here, and you could do something like this and say, we're going to take this when it breaks out of this area. This made it really, really tight. I wanted 1 more or 2 more inside days right here before it would break out. This broke down. That means we don't even have to play it. We don't even have to worry about a fake breakout here. This broke down, right? I'm not as interested now because the whole formation is, taken out. The only thing that would make me interested is it rallied right back up here and held off for an undercut and rally, but that usually occurs in 1 day, right? But this was Poet. This was looking like a 5-star setup, just like RKLB, Rocket Lab, looks like it could make that 5-star setup, right? New higher lows, new higher lows, new lower highs. I said that backwards. New higher lows, new lower highs, and as it continues to go, it'll create another higher low and another lower high here, getting very, very tight. And if it does all of that, it's going to be another 5-star setup, So yeah, guys, Rocket Lab's looking really, really good. Another one is VERI. Jolene, I know you took this one too. Unfortunately, I think you said that you got stopped out on this. But this was a really good trade, guys. And we talked about this on the Sunday as well, this being a breakout area and this being a retest area. This thing did end up breaking out, and it looks really good. And there's volume coming in on it too. So this is already broken out, but it's definitely one to keep an eye on. Another one that I am still holding to is VRNA. This is proving to be a leader in its area. If you guys look at this, you can see the tiers higher, and some people say 3 tiers. After 3 tiers, the volume doesn't seem to take it up any higher. I don't think that that's necessarily true. I've played quite a few stocks where they had 5 or 6 trend breakouts in one area, or base breakouts, or both in one area. So I looked at this. I seen three branches. I like this getting tight here. I played the breakout, got in a little later than I wanted to, but I'm just letting this thing kind of go, right? And once it closes below that 10-day moving average, then I'll get out. But until that happens, I'm just kind of sitting back. So VRNA, hold about 200 shares from 29.80. We're up about $377 on that. And I'm just, guys, I got my stop loss set. I can move this up to break even if I wanted to. It's just there. It's just there in case something crazy happens. But I'm waiting. I'm trying to wait till the end of the day to come back, look, oh, okay, it's closed. Well, tomorrow, I'll get out of this position, or tonight if I can set my lot, my loss there, or maybe we get a pop tomorrow morning. But I want to take slow, not deliberate, fast movements or emotional movements on my swing tradings. All right. So this is the part where I'm going to bring up a couple more trades, but this is the part where I want you guys to kind of bring up some tickers for me. So I am asking for your help as a community, as a crew, the people that are in the Discord right now. And welcome, America. Thanks for joining us. And Zamora, thank you for joining us. If you have a ticker that you have played or is acting right or looks like it's setting up, I would love for you to kind of let me know. You can tell me what the ticker is or anything about it, or if you want to go over a trade. I want this to kind of I want you guys to take the your open mic. Let me know what's going on. We have MSTR, so there's Bitcoin here. If we look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin's been trading kind of sideways here, right? So I like to look at Bitcoin over here on this. So if we zoom out, you can see Bitcoin's been channeling, and this whole time, MSTR has been doing really, really well right here at all-time highs. So I can assure you, if Bitcoin continues to climb, if it can break out of its channel, MSTR is going to break out as well. But they are doing very, very good, and they're not in so much a cadence with Bitcoin right now. They're not in rhythm with Bitcoin. They're taking off while Bitcoin still is stuck in their channel, right? This can still be stuck in the channel too, but it's just another one I wanted to bring up to you guys to keep an eye on is MSTR. Very long channel basing. Dan Bob, what do you got for me?
I'm struggling with COM, COMM.
Ah, yes. So COM.
I'm going to play on that.
I'm really happy that you brought up COM. I really like this structure. I really like this structure. Another one we got to look up too. I don't think I have my phone on me, but I called it out in the chat, so I'll look it up. But yes, COM is looking really, really good. You get this big push up. You got a lot of volume down here. Big push up on this volume here as it heads higher, higher than average. And as it pulls back, that's good. Volume, price, volume price contraction or volume contraction pattern, VCP, VPC, whatever it is. You guys know what I'm talking about. All right. So
CP.
VCP, yeah, volume contraction pattern.
Volume contraction.
Pattern.
What? Pattern. There
Yeah,
you
pattern. Because I keep wanting to say price, right? I keep wanting
go.
to say
Right.
price, but it's
I do the same thing.
yeah. So the volume pattern contraction is looking very good down here. The pullback's on much lower volume. So if it can break out from this area, alerts are free. Just go ahead and set one, folks. And if we see higher than average volume breaking through a trend pattern on the daily time frame, and we see higher volume on the 5-minute time frame, and we look in here and we see in this area at 6:30, we see higher volume, that is what we need to pay attention to. That's exactly what we need to look at. So I like COM. It's like, hey, time to break out now. You know, it's like time. It's time to go. You know, so we'll see what happens with that. There was one that I brought up today. I said it's in an area that we all want to keep an eye on, and that was GCI. So let me show this to you guys here. I really like GCI. I like this pattern, how it rallies back up on volume. As it sells off, it holds the 10-day moving average, and it got really tight here, and it didn't seem to quite break out just yet. So it's today it broke out, and we can zoom in on the 5-minute, and there's a reason why I didn't take it. And you guys know, I almost reached out for your help. I was having a hard time on my phone. I was going to say, hey guys, take a look at GCI and compare the 5-minute volume on this breakout area at 575. Compare that to the previous 5 minutes, you know, because if I'm on my computer, I can just zoom out, right? I can zoom out and I can just compare it down here. I can even bring this up and say, okay, here's that volume on the breakout here. You know, okay, it is higher than average volume than most of the other days. In comparison, that could have been a nice take, you know. But, you know, being on your phone and also just kind of like looking at this, comparing it to the previous day, it wasn't anything like eye-opening, right? It wasn't anything eye-opening. It wasn't anything crazy. Only 58,000 shares traded in this 5 minutes, but you could have taken that trade. You could have taken that trade. I did not. I wasn't convinced, right? We're making new all-time highs in the S&P 500 at this time. GCI just starting its run. You know, does it have enough volume to really break through? I didn't feel like it did. And I'm glad that I didn't. But now that it's retesting this breakout area, it's a very important area to keep an eye on. So I'm going to set an alert there.
Is that Gannett Publishing?
VE.
GCI?
Which? Oh crap. GCI.
Yeah.
Let me just see what GCI
It's
is.
Gannett Publishing. Yeah, they're a
Gannett?
newspaper.
Are they?
Yeah, they're a newspaper.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you. Consumer Services Publishing newspaper. Yeah.
Yep.
Digital medias as well. Okay.
Yeah, their website, they sell ad space.
Okay. Tesla setting up a cup and handle. What else you guys got? What are you guys watching? Talk to me. Don't lie in secrecy. I know you guys got something good for me. Give me all your tickers.
You know me, I'm watching NNE.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Okay, so NNE, guys. NNE is looking really nice. It's setting up new higher lows here, and there's a lot of volume. It's a very attractive stock. When you look at this and we zoom out, you can see it IPOs with a burst of volume. It breaks through that, makes a new higher low, and then this is where we played it, guys. Like, this is where we got in and we played this beautiful trade. Everybody made money. It was beautiful. I mean, it was awesome.
Not everybody.
Right? Not everybody.
Not everybody.
I wasn't gonna bring it up. But yeah, this was a 5-star setup. This is, something we constantly bring up, and for good reason. We could go over it all over again right now, but you just see big volume, a pullback. You see new higher lows, new lower highs being put in right down here. And then once it breaks out, you use the 10-day moving average to stop out. But after we already pulled through, we're up over 200%. We decided to use a 1-hour 10-day moving average in order to really fine tune that instead of giving too much away. So NNE now is creating new higher lows on volume once again, and it's showing proper price analysis. Okay. So I really like it. I like the volume contraction pattern in this as well. If we look at this down here, you can see, let me just zoom in for you. You can see a definite trend. It's trending down. This is trending up. It's looking beautiful. Okay. All right. NNE. What else do we got, guys? What's been in play was, let's see how China stocks are doing, like BABA. So BABA came right back down, tumbling right back down after it reached close to those previous all-time highs over here at 116. And it's tumbling. Now, it's got to find a spot. So just like anything else, you want it to create those new higher lows. Very choppy right now. Let's see it make those new higher lows, make a trend or a base breakout pattern, or don't play China stocks at all. Then we have PDD. PDD is forming like, I don't even want to call that a cup and handle, but you understand the visual. This has a top right here at this 153 area. It's not being broken through 155, to 160, that area. There's a big seller there. They can't get through there. So we'll see what happens with PDD, or don't look at Chinese stocks at all. Some people don't. Some people don't even want to look at a bio stock, And then one thing I wanted to bring up was GNSS. B. Stewie has been trading. He upgraded. He's been trading his live account, and I couldn't be more happy because B. Stewie, if you guys didn't know, he's been with me literally since one of the first days I started doing the YouTube. So I really love to see how far he's progressed. GNSS was just a beautiful take on a base breakout here. And you guys can already see it. It's following a 10-day moving average. You get these big moves on the volume coming up and lighter volume on the sell-off. And you can see it gets really, really tight here. That breakout, I mean, it's just looking really good. So if we get through these previous all-time highs at this $4, who knows? This thing could really start taking off. So we'll see what happens. And always interesting to see how he's going to manage the trade. So congrats, B. Stewie, on that one, brother. And what else?
Thank you, Dave.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. for sure.
Hey, Dave,
Yeah,
can
what's
you
up?
look at Hood?
Oh yeah. So thank you for bringing up Hood. So this is
Look
a
at it
stock.
on the weekly.
Ooh, I like to hear that. If you're looking at things on the weekly, oh, look at this. So why are we looking at the weekly for anybody that's asking? Well, if we look at the daily,
Because I'm new.
if you're looking at the daily, it gives you plenty of information. You can see all this information. We can mark out these highs. But if we're looking at something like Hood and we want to condense that to understand it a little better, now you can really get an understanding of where it came from. Okay. All the way since its IPO. This thing IPO'd, it was a laughing stock. People laughed at this thing. But it held a base for so long, now creating new higher lows. It also created this beautiful basing area with all this volume underneath it. This base breakout right here, I'll just mark this out so you guys can see it. This price action of $24, it breaking on volume, there's a pretty high chance that this thing can really get to ripping. My biggest reasoning is because all of this shit volume over here is behind us. Once this thing gets above this $25 area, all of this shit volume is behind us. There's nothing to sell into us. It's almost blue skies, unless they're literally bag holding from its IPO, right? Which was in 2021, which, I mean, there definitely still could be, right? But this breakout here looks absolutely awesome. Absolutely awesome, especially on the weekly. Now, if we go back to the daily, you can see the volume on the breakout. It's very, very obvious. It's very obvious. Now, can we see this on the 5-minute? Look at this. So if we look at the previous traded days on the volume here, we just bring this up, okay? And of course, you can look at the average traded volume on TraderView, and we could bring up the stock, and we could scroll down here. We could look at the average volume, and we could look at the volume traded for the day. We could calculate it that way. Or if you're more a visual person like I am, well, we open up the stock to a 5-minute trade, and we can see this volume that comes in first thing in the morning, and the next 5 minutes that comes in is more volume than this stock has seen in a very, very long time. That gives me a sign that this basing breakout has enough volume to get it through and continue higher. So this was an absolutely stellar take. And I would love to hear your average. If you don't want to tell it to me, that's fine. I'm going to keep on talking anyway. But absolutely beautiful. If you could have taken it at that $24, that's got us. Anywhere between 24 and 25, I would say it's a great trade because you're still in that breakout area, and it moves 4.4%. So yeah, still taking it in that 24.50 would still be within the average daily range as well. So
Yeah, I got in just below 24.
okay, just below. Wow, beautiful.
I was Dan, Bob, and I went over it because I was looking for a very specific point with Hood. And no, I'm sorry, 24, 23.
2024,
24,
23.
23.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's perfect. Oh my gosh,
24, 23
that's absolutely perfect.
is where I
Absolutely
got
perfect
in.
trade.
And
Absolutely perfect
it's
trade,
not,
Jolene.
it's moving slow. Seems to be moving slow.
Sure.
But it's a small trade because I'm still in my first,
Is it stop low
smaller
of day?
trades. Huh?
Did you use the stop of low of day?
Yes.
Yes? Oh my
Yes.
gosh. Jolene, I am so absolutely so proud of you. I am so proud. This makes me so happy, guys. This makes me so happy. Seriously, this is the whole reason why we started this community. So that way we could, like, this is the kind of stuff I'm talking about, guys. We go over this constantly. We go over volume. We go over price action. We go over what's strong, what's not, what's hot, what's not. Hood has not been on my radar at all. But Jolene and Dan Bob have been talking about this. It's been on their radar. Jolene, you're in this trade. This is absolutely amazing. Now, do keep in mind that on the 30th is earnings, but that is plenty of time to take a basing breakout. Look at the volume coming out of this thing. I'm so pumped. I really hope this does really well for you, as well as your NVDL. I hope you make a lot of money in this bull market for sure. What else do we got, guys? What you got?
What's when you're in Jolene with your husband? LASC, is that it?
Oh, Lass.
Yeah, LASC.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well,
LASC.
good news is it's being supported right here in this area at $4. You know? Yep. You know what? It really looked like it started to set up like this thing here, you know? But then it just broke down. But yeah, it's definitely moving like a small cap stock.
This is one that he has long term, and he's had it for a long time. So he bought it at $3.60 a share.
Okay, yeah.
And this is the one that when we were on vacation, I happened to see it, the volume come in on it, and so I way doubled his thing, and he's like, you messed up on my averages, and I'm like, it pumped to almost $19, buddy, and I paid for all of your stocks. I cashed out. I pulled all of my shares out. 100 shares I bought.
Power move. I'm so impressed and proud. Made that money
And
on vacation, girl.
It was the only thing I did. But anyway, but he's still there in there. I've messed up his little numbers, but
That's still awesome though. That's still awesome. Making money.
He's got free shares now though, so he'll get over it.
What else you guys got? What else you guys got for me?
I have an ugly one that I missed.
Oh, you always have ugly
that I
ones.
didn't trade on.
Why do we gotta look at the ugly
Yeah,
ones, Parker? Talk to
because they're always fun to talk about. I'll tell you what makes it ugly, and I'll tell you before we even look at it, and you can bring it up on your chart. ENVX.
ENVX. I think I've heard. Yeah, you've been playing this one. You've been.
I didn't play it
before.
I-
Before, weren't you like
Yeah,
3 or 4 months ago?
Yeah, I was kind of like watching it because I saw a lot of price action come into it.
Yeah.
But the volume was very sporadic.
Yeah.
So anyway, in the recent when this came back up on the scanner list, it came back up, but it was an RS59. So I didn't really look at it too serious. Although for me, I saw the pattern there. When you look at the daily, I see a base there at 1069. A flat base at 1069.
Yep. I see it.
Okay. Now, from somewhere in the beginning of August, there's a green bar there that makes a flag.
Okay.
Like it's near the beginning. It's like the third or fourth bar in. There's like a green. No, back in August, right past the 8. Yeah, right. Oh, go back. Right about there. Up top, there's a flag that stretches into September.
Okay.
And you'll see it. You'll see the flag on the bottom too. Like
you're
once
talking
you
something like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, and I wanted to catch it as it was going to break 982.
Okay.
But because the base that I saw was 1069, I didn't bite the bullet there. I held my guard, and I didn't trade it. But I was like, son of a gun, and it did exactly what I thought it was going to do.
Yeah, well, that's cool. That's cool that you recognize that because that's not that's a really good base breakout because of the previous trading price action at that area too. And then this base that formed. And then I like how you shown like you're finding your trend line down here. What I like about it, because I wouldn't like this at all, but because it has the new higher lows, like you have a low, low, low. They're all new and higher. Each one is a new higher low, and then you have the breakout. So that makes me feel a little bit more safer about that trade. So nice. Very, very cool. Let's take a
I've got
look at.
two. Go
I,
ahead.
I do want to bring up APP because I did say that this was looking like a leader, and it's totally fell off my damn radar because I'm not playing APP. I'm in a few other ones, and I neglected to really keep an eye on this. If you guys remember back in the day, I said I wasn't playing APP because for the longest time I was trying to get in these areas a few different times. This one here, it got me. I think there was another time, like maybe this base breakout got me. And then I just gave up on. I gave up on APP after it broke out on all this volume. I brought it up to you guys. I said we needed to keep an eye on APP. I think it's going to be a leader. And I'm just checking back in with APP and look at this thing. Average daily range of 4.1%. It's got the earnings November 6th. This thing is just moving right on up. This looks really, really good. You guys can figure out, what it is by its name, App Lover or App Lovin' Corporation. They deal with all your applications on your cell phones and stuff, and much, much more. But yeah, they're obviously in high demand. I mean, look at this thing. It's beautiful, beautiful chart. New all-time highs. Still kicking ass. Still taking names. So looking very, very good. What do you got for me, Dan Bob?
Rail and then VST.
All right, so here's Rail. Yeah, Rail's looking really nice. This thing moves 10.2%. Wow. Excuse me. Imagine getting a hold of that on its adjusted earnings. Wow. Wow. What a mover. So this is Freight Car America, moves 10.2%. This thing's even forming a trend right here on top of its retest of its base breakout. Look at that, guys. Here's its base breakout right here. Now it's coming back down. It's retesting this area because this acted as resistance at 1163 and it acted as resistance at 1163. But now that we broke through on higher volume, now it's coming back down and it's retesting this area of now support. If it can hold support, get tight, and break out through this trend now on volume, that is going to be a double whammy. So hopefully that can happen. That looks really good. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm going to go ahead and mark that at 12 bucks. I'm sure I'm going to have to put a couple more alerts, but I just want to keep Rail close. I like that. Thank you very much for bringing that up. It was on the watch list to go through, but man, it fell off the radar. It's way in the back here somewhere. Yeah, that's way in the back. All right, what else you guys got for me? Anything? We went over COM, app, VERI, master, NNE.
VST.
Oh, thank you. VST. So VST, Vistra Corporation. Well, so looking at this just from its past, this is the first thing I see, guys. This is a trend that has new lower highs that broke through. We don't have 3 new lower highs here, so it's not the best. Now it's pushing up on volume here, and it's pulling back. The pullback, there's quite a bit of volume there, but this needs a lot more time. If it's got a trend here, it needs to form more like a base, I think. Or if this is going to be a trend, it needs to come back up and kind of bounce around for a little bit. It needs to digest this. We'll put it that way. It's in an area of price discovery. Once it finds the price that it likes and it gets tight, then we will find our area for risk management and see if it's worth taking a move to the north side or to the south side. But VST, I think this thing just needs more time. I like it. It's a good mover on volume for sure. What else? You guys got anything else for me?
Do you look at stocks that are less than 5 ADR?
Erica, I will look at anything you want me to look at right now. How about that?
Okay. How about GKOS?
GKLS.
OS.
GKOS. GKOS? Gleucos?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so my first initial reaction to this right away is that it's trending up. Okay, so that's already a great point towards this stock. Okay, so we are trending up. You can make a very clear line, and we're just going to use the daily on this because it's a slower mover. Okay, it's a very, very distinctive line, and there's only been a few times that it's broke this 50-day moving average and hung out below there for a short period of time. Okay. Right now, it's at that 50-day moving average and still above other moving averages. You can actually see it's got a bit of a base right here that's formed at 131. So it needs to get through that base. And you can see that it's not at its highest point. It's not at its lowest. So it's kind of in the middle here. Okay. There's new higher lows that are being formed, and I really like seeing this being caught. You know, it's being supported. So beautiful stock. Obviously, and as you know already, Erica, it's a little slow. It only moves 2.9%. But you can clearly see, me not knowing a damn thing about this company, that the price action on this, it's a no-brainer. It's trending up. It's looking healthy. The volume just seems steady, you know? So you have a trend. If it breaks below this, or let's say if it breaks below a 50-day moving average, then that you could use that area as a risk. I'm not telling you to obviously buy or sell anything, but I'm just saying if you're willing to hold on or you believe in this company, it shows proper risk reward. It shows proper trend. You have a lot of good things going for the stock right now. Now, in 2 or 3 days, if it breaks below the 50-day moving averages and breaks this trend, that's not a good sign. It needs to kind of get up here, get tight, and break through this area to continue to prove that it's going to continue on this trend. So depending on where you can find your risk management, I like it. I like it, Erica. That's a very good stock. What else you got for me, Erica? Anything?
No, not really.
Okay. Was that what you were expecting for that analysis, or were you? What did you think about this stock?
I stretched it out a little bit and drew my lines, and it looks the current spot. If you
Okay.
stretch it out, I drew some lines,
Oh, okay.
and
So like this.
yeah, if I went from that high down and then drew the triangle,
Like
to
this?
me it looks like, yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This is what is absolutely beautiful about doing technical analysis. Because it's not just drawing lines wherever, right? You might draw a line, I might see a base, you might see a trend. Regardless, the psychology of this is that we have expansion, which we have expansion, we have contraction, which now we are having contraction, and then we are looking for an area for it to get tight to play that expansion again. And if it expands the wrong way, we are losing minimal amount of money if expanding to the north side. And all we're looking for is the psychology and the price action. And that's all these lines are representing, is tightening of expansion and contraction. So if I see a base and you see a trend, that's more power to us. So awesome, Erica. I really appreciate you pointing that trend breakout to me as well. So yeah, I like that. So if this is what you're thinking about setting up, and you can find it, and I want to say higher volume, but this stock seems to trade on pretty steady volume. You know, if it breaks out of your area and you can find proper risk management, I really like this stock for you, and I really like this stock in general.
Yeah, I know it moves slow, but it seems like those runs are actually pretty long generally. So while it doesn't move a lot each day, it adds up quite a bit
Absolutely.
on every time it goes up.
Absolutely. Yep. Yep. The whole reason why we want to be in fast movers is because we are using our capital and using our money. We want to make the most that we can when we put our money to use. So if you're putting your money to use, there's always risk involved in any time you're putting capital to use. So we want to get in, make the most that we can, and get out as quick as we can, making the biggest percentage on our money that we can. Some people don't like those fast movers though. And I know, Erica, you work, and me myself, I work too. So when I go to work, a lot of times I don't like being in those faster movers. I rather be, in a slower moving game rather than playing ping pong. I'm playing bocce ball, where I'm not forced to move. I'm not forced to, make fast emotional or quick decisions. So
The hell
sometimes
is
these slower movers are great to play if that's your style. It's just not mine.
what the hell is bocce ball?
Bocce ball. I think
What a Michigan thing.
I'm pretty sure it's bocce ball, the one where you throw the small ball out and then you got to get the other balls, whoever's closest to it. I think that's bocce
It's
ball.
gonna be a Michigan thing.
Do you guys know what bocce
No, it's
ball is?
basically marbles for old people.
Uh,
Yeah, it's big marbles for old people, basically. Yeah. Oh,
bocce
shoot.
ball.
I love it. I love it. I love this community, guys. All right, cool. Well, we are rearing into 1 hour already hanging out with you guys. I honestly could talk about this forever. I was pumped about tonight's meeting. And I think, I really think we need to talk more about leaders. We need to have more talks about volume leaders and the analysis of those and then revisit. We always want to revisit not just previous leaders, like we revisited Tesla today, but need to revisit previous trades and previous outlooks because we can learn multiple times from a stock, not just when they break out, but when they break down. Okay. We can also learn from stocks that we missed, stocks that we're in, and stocks other people have taken. Okay. So I really enjoyed tonight. I hope you guys had an awesome one. And I hope everybody's green tomorrow. All right. So you guys have a good night. Peace.